When Timmy's father died, the world did not stop turning, though for Timmy, it might as well have. The man had been his tether, the provider, the miniature anchor who brought in just enough money with his tinkering to keep food on the table and laughter in the air. His death came swiftly, an accident with a clockwork mechanism that went too far, gears that turned when they should not have. He was buried in a box the size of a jewelry case. Timmy was left behind, no taller than a woman's pinky finger, and quieter than the wind that passed through open kitchen windows. Timmy was a whirlwind of boundless energy and innocent curiosity, a small sunbeam perpetually seeking warmth. At 7 years old, the world was a vast, exciting playground, and every nook and cranny held a secret waiting to be discovered. But beneath the surface of his cheerful exterior lay a quiet yearning. There was a void left by the absence of his mother. He missed the gentle touch and the unconditional love that only a mother could provide. Luckily, Timmy was not left completely alone. Sarah was not his birth mother, but she was tall, soft, and resolute. She had married his father despite the oddity of it all. She loved fiercely, yet tenderly, and though he was not born from her body, Timmy became her child the day she knelt to wipe his tears with a hand larger than his entire frame. She had come into Timmy's life a year ago, after his father had found love again after years of being a widower. Sarah was a woman of warmth and empathy, with eyes that held an understanding that transcended words. She understood the ache in Timmy's heart, the unspoken longing that tugged at his small frame. She also understood the immense grief she felt at the loss of Timmy's father. It wasn't easy for her either. When the breadwinner fell, Sarah bore the weight of survival. She had tried her best to fill the void, to offer Timmy the nurturing presence he craved. She read him bedtime stories, patiently answered his endless questions, and enveloped him in warm hugs. But she knew that she could never truly replace his mother, and that realization often left her feeling inadequate. She took work where she could. Her hands bore calluses on many occasions. She was cleaning many houses, lifting cars to change tires, even modeling for niche clothing lines due to the sexiness of her curvaceous body. Their house became quieter and much simpler. Timmy's toys grew scarce. The gears, levers, and spring-loaded marvels his father had made were now collecting dust. But Sarah had an idea for something better. She knew she had a great body, so why not use it? Sarah could offer Timmy an adventure. Each morning, Timmy would begin his ascent up her tall, humongous body. He scaled her calf muscles and crossed the curves of her jeans, gripping onto seams as he climbed. By the time she was done brushing her long waves of hair, he was already nestled into the warm fold of her jean pocket. "You good in there, Peanut?" she would ask, patting the side of her jeans with gentle affection. Timmy would knock twice. It was their secret signal. Sarah would chuckle, the sound buzzing through the fabric and into his bones like distant thunder. Together, Sarah's big body became his tiny world. Her large footsteps became his earthquakes. Every night, when Sarah got tired, the scent of roasted vegetables and warm bread from the dinner she cooked still hung in the air. She would collapse onto the couch. It was time for Timmy to play and for her to relax. Evenings were special. After Sarah had cooked a hearty meal, a feat of culinary engineering considering Timmy's minuscule appetite, they would settle down in front of the television. This was Timmy's cue. He would carefully climb out of her pocket and onto her stomach, ready for his bouncing session. Her stomach became his playground. It was soft and warm, the perfect place for him to play. She could watch over him as he played, while she relaxed to the sound of the television. He would leap, tumble, bounce against her resilient flesh as she laughed. Sarah would always be careful. She'd create a protective circle with her hands, her fingers forming a cage to prevent any accidental falls. For Timmy, her stomach was the world's best bouncy house. One evening, Timmy was bouncing around the living room, his energy levels reaching an all-time high. Sarah was lounging on the sofa, a book resting on her lap, the television on in the background, though she was mostly watching Timmy with a fond smile. "Timmy, darling, why don't you come and sit down for a bit?" she suggested gently. Timmy, however, was far too engrossed in his game to heed her words. He continued to jump and prance, his small feet pounding against the carpet. Suddenly, he veered towards Sarah and, with a mischievous glint in his eyes, started jumping up and down on her tummy. Sarah giggled, trying to push him away playfully. "Timmy, stop it. That tickles." But Timmy was relentless. He continued his bouncing spree, his laughter echoing through the room. Then, in one particularly enthusiastic jump, something unexpected happened. He jumped higher each time, enjoying himself more and more as his tiny body made contact against her supple skin, laughing like the boy he was. His final jump was too high, and when he landed, it was not on her stomach but into the slight indentation of her belly button. Timmy seemed to sink into Sarah's belly button. One moment he was there, the next he was gone, vanished into the depths of her abdomen. Sarah gasped, her eyes wide with disbelief. Had she imagined it? Was it some sort of bizarre dream? But then, she felt a distinct tickling sensation from within her stomach. Timmy, meanwhile, found himself in a strange, warm, and surprisingly spacious environment. It was dark, but not so dark he couldn't see. A dim, reddish glow permeated the space, illuminating the squishy, undulating walls around him. He realized with a jolt that he was inside Sarah's stomach. A giggle escaped his lips. This was amazing. An adventure beyond his wildest dreams. He started jumping around, his small body bouncing against the soft, yielding walls of Sarah's stomach. It felt so wet and warm everywhere. From the outside, Sarah was experiencing a roller coaster of sensations. The feeling of Timmy jumping around inside her tickled her immensely, sending waves of laughter rippling through her body. She was feeling ecstatic. Her laughter made Timmy even more excited, and he bounced around with renewed vigor. He bounced once more, and the moist walls answered with a wet, echoing squelch. The elasticity beneath him sprang back gently, like the cushions of her couch. He giggled. Outside, Sarah's hand rested flat against her abdomen. She could feel the tiniest flutter within her. "Oh my God," she whispered, breathless. "You're really in there." Her eyes darted to the ceiling, then to the window, as if to confirm this was real. Her fingers traced small circles over her navel, eyes softening with joy and pleasure from what was happening inside of her. "You okay, baby?" Inside, Timmy waved, knowing she couldn't see, but hoping somehow she could feel it. The walls of her belly pulsed in and out steadily, as if her body was waiting for him to finish playing. He then had a thought, and started bouncing against the inside of her belly button, that spot that drew him in the first place. "Timmy, stop it!" Sarah cried out, her voice laced with laughter. "It tickles too much." Timmy, hearing the joy in Sarah's voice, couldn't resist. He bounced against her belly button again, eliciting another burst of laughter from Sarah. "Again," she giggled. "Are you ticklish?" Timmy asked, his voice echoing slightly in the enclosed space. "Very," Sarah managed to say between gasps of laughter. "But please, Timmy, you're making me laugh too much." He stopped his bouncing, his curiosity piqued. "What's it like in there?" Sarah asked, trying to regain her composure. "It's squishy and warm," Timmy replied. "And kind of dark, but not scary dark." "What are you doing in there?" she asked. "Just bouncing around," Timmy said. "What did you eat, by the way?" "I had some chicken stew," Sarah replied. "Do you remember, you also had some?" "I loved it," Timmy exclaimed. Can I taste it again?" Sarah chuckled. "I guess so," she said. "Just don't eat too much." Timmy eagerly reached out and took a small gulp of the mushy, partially digested chicken stew. His eyes widened. "It's even better the second time," he declared. "You're the best cook, Sarah." Sarah's heart swelled with warmth. It was moments like these that made her realize how much she loved Timmy, how much she wanted to be the mother figure he so desperately needed. Timmy continued to nibble on the digested stew, savoring the familiar flavors. After a while, however, the warmth and the gentle churning of Sarah's stomach began to lull him into a state of drowsiness. He found a comfortable spot along the side of Sarah's stomach. It was the warmest, softest, wettest place he could find. He snuggled into a small crater, feeling as though he was being enveloped in a loving hug. The gurgling and rumbling of Sarah's digestion filled the space, creating a soothing sound that washed over him. Before he knew it, Timmy had drifted off to sleep, lulled into slumber by the comforting sounds of his stepmother's body. Sarah smiled softly. She was feeling the weight of Timmy's body against her stomach wall. She gently placed her hand on her tummy, gently rubbing him in clockwise circles with her thumb from the outside of her belly button. It was an odd sensation, having Timmy inside her, but it was comforting knowing he had the time of his life inside of her. She smiled to herself, letting her hand linger as she reached for the remote. The glow of the television flickered over her skin, highlighting the soft curve of her beautiful round belly and the contentment in her eyes. She thought about Timmy's earlier question, "What's it like in there?" It was dark, wet, and squishy, but it was also a safe haven for him to receive nourishment only a mother or stepmother could provide. It was a place where Timmy could feel close to her. She closed her eyes, imagining Timmy sleeping peacefully within her. She vowed to protect him, to cherish him, and to love him as if he were her own. She knew that she could never replace his mother, but she could be the best stepmother she could be, a loving and supportive presence in his life. As she drifted off to sleep herself, she made a silent promise to Timmy, a promise she vowed from the depths of her being, "I'll always be here for you, Timmy. Always."